So if you're observing a really short sleep window, something in the region of 5 to 5.5 hours, but it takes you at least half an hour, maybe even longer to fall asleep, or you're spending time awake during the night, does this mean that you're actually allotting less time for sleep and therefore need to make adjustments to the sleep window? Well, the answer is no, and I'm going to be talking about this in today's video. Hi, I'm Martin Reed. If you have insomnia, I offer sleep coaching programs that will give you all the skills and support you need to enjoy better sleep for the rest of your life. You can learn more at insomniacoach.com. Now, if you're implementing sleep restriction in a bid to improve your sleep for the long term, you'll be typically allotting less time for sleep than you have perhaps been doing in the past. And the idea here is to help build sleep drive, which will help you fall asleep and stay asleep and reduce the amount of time you spend awake during the night. Now, it's important that we give ourselves the opportunity to get a certain amount of sleep. So for this reason, I tend to suggest having a minimum sleep window of around 5 to 5.5 hours if you typically have a very short nightly sleep duration. Otherwise, you would just simply add around half an hour onto your average nightly sleep duration to get an initial sleep window to try. Now, one concern some people have, especially when they're following the really short sleep window of, say, 5 to 5.5 hours, is, well, look, it's going to take me, say, half an hour or so to fall asleep. I might spend half an hour awake during the night. So that 5.5 hour sleep window surely then becomes more of like a 4.5 hour sleep window because I'm going to be awake for an hour during that sleep window. So does this mean I have to modify it each day? So for example, if I notice it takes around half an hour to fall asleep, does that mean I can then stay in bed for half an hour past the end of the sleep window that morning? Well, here's the thing. The sleep window is just about the amount of time you allot for sleep. So we're not expecting you to fall asleep as soon as you get into bed, and we're certainly not expecting you to remain asleep throughout the entire night, because that's not a normal part of sleep. A typical sleeper with no issues with sleep will on average take between 10 minutes and half an hour to fall asleep. And it's quite normal to wake multiple times during the night for short periods of time. So when you're observing a regular sleep window, we know that you're not going to be filling that sleep window with sleep. We're just looking for you to allot an appropriate amount of time for sleep. And what you'll tend to find, as long as you stick with that regular, consistent and appropriate sleep window, is sleep drive will start to build over time. So you'll start to notice yourself falling asleep more quickly. You'll definitely start to notice more sleepiness as the sleep window approaches. And you'll likely be spending less time awake during the night as well. So ultimately the key is to pick an appropriate sleep window and stick with it. Certainly don't make adjustments on a day-to-day basis. You really don't want to be making adjustments to your sleep window more than weekly. Ideally, every 2 weeks. That should really be the minimum amount of time before you start looking to adjust that sleep window. So remember that the sleep window is just the amount of time you're allotting for sleep. We're not expecting you to fill that sleep window with sleep in the short term. You're just at this point looking to create an appropriate sleep window and just sticking with it for a week or two until you start to notice it having an effect on your sleep. The fact that it's going to be taking you some time to fall asleep and the fact that you're going to be spending time awake during the night is already built into the idea of creating this sleep window. We don't expect you to fall asleep as soon as your head hits the pillow and to sleep right through the night. So ultimately, look at your average nightly sleep duration, add around half an hour to get your sleep window. If it's below 5 hours after adding that half an hour, then give yourself a sleep window of no less than around 5 to 5.5 hours. You don't need to build into the sleep window how long it takes you to fall asleep or how much time you spend awake during the night. you're solely looking at average nightly sleep duration. If you're consistent with the sleep window, over time you will notice a positive effect on your sleep. You will notice more sleepiness. You will notice that it starts to take less time to fall asleep. You'll notice that you start to spend less time awake during the night. And that's when we can start expanding the sleep window as your sleep improves. So I hope you found this short video helpful. If you did, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. I do try and share some new sleep snippet videos every week. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, or suggestions for a future video, please leave a comment below, or you can email me directly. My email address is hello@insomniacoach.com. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'd like to leave you with this important reminder. You can sleep.